One thing that we always have to make sure of, and one thing that has to always open our eyes, is that much of what we see on social media, especially whether TikTok or Facebook, not everyone else in the world is seeing that. There are instances and there are trending topics and hot takes and stuff that can trend and go beyond its specific niche. Why am I saying this? One thing that I saw go interview, go podcast, podcast and chill, the show Music Pulse, is that one thing I've learned to understand is that a show is an hour 30, 2 hours. They're not going to talk about everything and they're not going to touch on everything, let alone they try to encompass the whole space in which is music, the music industry. I'm saying this because what that does is sometimes limitations do happen and lack of exposure does happen. What I like about Tahi is that he's very open-minded about going into these spaces and experiencing Lekompo. Going go Lekompo tour party, going go propaganda and seeing it for what it is and seeing its elevation to where it is now. One thing I can tell you for sure is that a genre cannot grow with one person alone. In terms of our appreciation and love for Shebeshet and our support for him, that one is always going to be there. But the genre has to grow, the genre has to elevate. We are hungry. We want to release music. We want people out there to check out our music. We want our music to make us money. Because at the end of the day, these are young kids, these are creators that devoted their blood, sweat, and tears to devote each and every waking moment of their lives to create art, to create music for all of us to enjoy. So we do have to be open-minded about the fact that we have to try out the music. We need to open and hear the music. That's why there are avenues where or spaces, in fact, that ourselves we are part of and other people are part of, where we are allowing Lekompo to survive. And one thing that's for sure is that Lekompo is here to stay. Lekompo is consistently going to grow in and out. And this year, of all the years, in fact, Lekompo is going to show us what it's got, and the cross genre collaborations are going to help us quite a lot, because us collaborating with other people outside Lekompo, it will matla and it will credibility, because it's going to show that we're united front and we are open-minded about working with other sounds that are unique and a bit different. That's why you saw bo Janeshe, Babereka Lebo Mahu, Lebo not Kolongema. That's why you see Ratolaka being big, because we got to see Bobo Zingumali work Libonako Libo Shebeshet. And those are people and those are moments that do make the sound big and do make the sound bigger than our borders or stretch beyond our borders. So Lekompo is going to do exactly that. We have to be patient and we have to be open-minded about it. It takes a while for a sound to mature, and it takes a while for a sound to be a bit clean, but that happens when we allow ourselves to work also with other people outside of us, so we can take advice, take lessons, and all of that. So I do wish go PNC, or not PNC, sorry, I do wish go podcast and chill, yes. Podcast and chill, yes. I do wish go podcast and chill, especially with the music pulse segments that they do tend to have regarding Lekompo, that they do become open-minded about the fact that it's still a young genre that is growing. And what are the solutions? That's why I love Mars when she always points at what Notes and all the guys sometimes maybe don't mention. What are the solutions? Give us the solution. If re bona nkare le ne matla or na le tsebo ya gore le khone re thusha gore re fetele pele, re fe matlawe, re bontshe tsela. It's not that we don't want to learn. Trust me, these kids, I spend more time with a lot of talent, with a lot of Lekompo artists, the upcoming ones, and I see the energy. I see they are willing to try anything. They are willing to put themselves out there. They are willing to figure ways of marketing themselves, new ways of cleaning up themselves. Because remember that the generation that is now here is more concerned about their image. They are learning the mistakes of the past and they are embracing what it can look like to actually fix the mistakes that were there, and they are willing to clean themselves. They are willing to clean their brands, and they are doing that. So let's be open-minded. What we don't see doesn't mean it's not happening. What we don't see doesn't mean there are things that are happening that we don't see. You don't get to see everything that is happening in this world, but trust and believe. There are things that are happening behind the scenes, things that are happening that you may not even be aware of that is happening. The sound is moving. Go to any place and ubona bapala Lekompo, you will see what I'm talking about. Lekompo is here to stay and it's here to dominate. Danko.